Welcome to Montenegro, the youngest country in Europe. This country is the perfect destination for those who prefer to feel the wind everywhere. And yes, I mean everywhere. Here, going without clothes is not just acceptable, it's almost a national sport. This country is receiving a considerable amount of investment, and it is said that it could soon join the European Union. In the next 10 years, this country has the potential to become not only one of the most beloved destinations in the Balkans, but in all of Europe. When you look at the map more closely, you'll notice that Montenegro is quite small, with its 13,800 square kilometers. This small territory shares borders with countries such as Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Kosovo, Albania, and Serbia, a country from which it peacefully separated in 2006, becoming the youngest nation in Europe. This means that if you're in any of these neighboring countries, you can easily cross into Montenegro by land with almost no difficulty. Montenegro, with its mix of history and modernity, offers a unique experience. You can get lost in its ancient cobblestone streets, enjoy local cuisine in quaint restaurants, and relax on beaches that seem straight out of a dream. And if you're a nature lover, its national parks and mountains will take your breath away. So, if you're looking for a destination with a touch of adventure, natural beauty, and a hint of mystery, Montenegro is the perfect place. Despite its small territorial extension and a population of just over 630,000 inhabitants, Montenegro truly resembles a corner of paradise. Its inhabitants are blessed with stunning natural beauty, along with dazzling medieval architecture that includes thick stone walls, towers, alleys, and arches. Since gaining independence, the citizens of Montenegro have found greater peace and prosperity. The country has transformed into a more valuable and peaceful place compared to its past. However, this path has not been free of obstacles, as Montenegro has had its clashes with two global giants, Russia and China. The neglect with China in particular could have serious consequences for the future of the country, something we will discuss later. The political and economic center of Montenegro is Podgorica, its capital. Although it has no coastline, it is an extremely safe city. In fact, the whole country is considered a safe place. Montenegro, with its mix of history, culture, and nature, offers a unique experience for anyone who visits. According to the 2023 Global Peace Index, Montenegro is ranked 44th and is the most armed country in Europe on a per capita basis, with 39 guns per 100 inhabitants. No, it's not per 100,000, but per 100 people living here. However, visitors who make a short stay in Montenegro prefer to spend their time in the vibrant western cities of Kotor and Budva, rather than the capital, Podgorica. These cities offer greater appeal for entertainment and are extremely beautiful. Montenegro is a country that offers a bit of everything. If you're looking for history and culture, you can immerse yourself in the authentic medieval atmosphere of its cities. If you prefer adventure, you can climb high mountains and explore pristine landscapes. And if you want to relax, its sky-blue beaches await you. This place attracts visitors not only from nearby countries, but from all over Europe during the summer season. Additionally, the country has received continuous investments in infrastructure, particularly in the industrial and commercial sectors, as Montenegro relies heavily on tourism to boost its growing economy. Montenegro is a fascinating destination, with its blend of natural beauty, rich history, and a safe, welcoming environment. Montenegro is not a member of the European Union, but it is clearly on a solid path to joining the group soon, and the value of its citizens' passports is expected to increase significantly. This is increasingly evident, as the country has widespread support among European Union members, and has even adopted the euro as its official currency. So if you plan to visit the country, you only need to bring euros. Additionally, Montenegro joined NATO a few years ago, which did not sit well with Russia, which vowed to retaliate for feeling betrayed, as it had supported the country with significant investments throughout its history, and they had been allies in the past. It's no secret that Russia sees NATO expansion as a threat. As a consequence, in 2016, Montenegro accused Russia of supporting a failed coup attempt aimed at preventing its entry into the alliance. Russia has declared that it had no involvement in the coup attempt. A very attractive aspect of Montenegro is its people. It's common to find peaceful individuals, free from stress and full of vitality. Here, People don't seem to be in a hurry or frantic about life. They are not driven by a desire to constantly work hard. If you share a common language with them, they might even invite you into their homes, showing you their best hospitality. It's important to mention that the official language of Montenegro is Montenegrin. However, any communication problems can easily be resolved with English. The local population is well aware of the country's tourism potential, so they open shops and businesses according to their skills and knowledge, often in the form of restaurants. Montenegro is a place where you can relax, enjoy the company of its friendly inhabitants, and immerse yourself in a rich and hospitable culture. As for the monthly cost of food for a couple, it's important to be prepared to spend at least €300 a month. When dining in Montenegro, you'll notice a great love for red meats and fish, which are common dishes at dinner. It's worth noting that education is free in the country. However, if you plan to pursue higher education, this place might disappoint you, as its universities are significantly behind compared to others in Europe. Due to the lack of industry in Montenegro, becoming a skilled industrial worker may not be viable, and you might struggle to make a living. As mentioned, more than half of the employment in the country is related to tourism, and the flow of euros largely comes from foreign tourists. For this reason, young Montenegrins often head to developed European countries when they reach their 20s. In fact, one of the main issues in Montenegro is the lack of permanent employment. The average net monthly income of people here is approximately €800. Montenegro is a beautiful and welcoming country, but it's important to be aware of its economic challenges and job opportunities when considering living or working there. When you look at the overall average, you'll notice that salaries are not particularly high in this country. The minimum wage is €350. Although this amount is relatively low compared to other European countries, it's important to note that the cost of living in Montenegro is lower than in other parts of the continent. If you are already living or working elsewhere in Europe, seeking employment in Montenegro to earn money may not be a very logical decision. The lower wages and limited industrial opportunities make it difficult to justify a move solely for economic reasons. Therefore, it's a good idea to keep your expectations modest when going there to avoid frustration. It's also important to note that, due to the influx of Ukrainians into the country, rental prices have increased significantly, especially in places like Kotor and Budva, the cities favored by visitors. Prices for everything, including food, have gone up, making it more difficult to live in these cities. For example, before the arrival of Ukrainians, monthly housing rents ranged between €200 and €300. However, now, the monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Montenegro averages around €800. If you add the cost of utilities like internet, electricity, and water, which usually amount to about €100, household expenses can easily reach €900 per month. Another topic related to Montenegro is that men from this country, who live by the sea, often cheat on their wives with female tourists. In Montenegro, some men present themselves as wealthy and well-off to tourists, who often get their hopes up and end up getting involved with them. Many of these women have the idea of living in this paradise permanently and improving their quality of life. Interestingly, even in the middle of summer, temperatures usually vary between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, without becoming oppressive with constant temperatures above 40 degrees. The beaches in this country are generally rocky, and you'll find people from all over the world enjoying these environments. Speaking of that, Montenegro allows great freedom on many beaches when it comes to naturism, with it being common to see people walking around and sunbathing completely naked and without shame. Essentially, when frequenting these beaches, you can expect some people to be completely naked, enjoying their leisure time. However, it's always a good idea to bring a swimsuit in case you feel uncomfortable in such places. The local population of Montenegro shares a common genetic trait. People from this area are very tall. This may explain why basketball is so popular in Montenegro, and why their national team is quite successful in international competitions. You can't talk about the country without mentioning the city of Kotor, a charming place with its ancient and well-preserved architecture. It is highly recommended that visitors stop by here. Many of the city's structures have a history of at least 500 years, with some buildings dating back to the 12th century. Kotor was originally built for defensive purposes, and its stone architecture, which resembles a huge fortress, features narrow streets and offers photogenic details at every corner. Since the city is highly visited, it is regularly cleaned both by shopkeepers and by the municipal administration, maintaining its charm and appeal for tourists. The Bay of Kotor is one of the main destinations worldwide for wealthy yacht owners who anchor there. Additionally, if you're fortunate, you'll be pleased to know that there are no taxes on boat fuel. The water in the bay reaches depths of approximately 60 meters, so not only yachts but also passenger ships can approach and anchor in the Bay of Kotor without concerns. It's also worth noting that the city is home to many cats, almost like an authentic trademark of this place. In other words, it is extremely normal to see several of these animals on every corner, and even inside shops as you walk through the city. In terms of corruption, unfortunately, Montenegro is not the best example. Out of 180 countries, the nation ranks 64th, tied with countries like South Africa and Cuba. Kotor, with its mix of luxury, feline charm, and a touch of political challenge, remains a fascinating and unique destination that attracts visitors from all over the world. Financial challenges and corruption in Montenegro. This is somewhat concerning for this young nation, considering that a few years ago, China loaned the country over 1 billion euros to build a road that would connect the region's main port to the border with Serbia. However, the funds were depleted, Montenegro is in debt, and the road is still not finished. If it is not paid off, the country could lose sovereignty over the infrastructure to China. This raised suspicions, as in Serbia, a neighboring country with the same type of mountainous terrain, approximately 16 million euros are spent per kilometer built. In Montenegro, however, the cost is 26 million euros per kilometer, a much higher value. People have been accused of receiving bribes, contracts have been cancelled, and allegations of corruption continue to spark public debate in the country. Interestingly, Montenegrins pay low taxes for now, with rates varying from 9% to 11%, with small increases for those who earn more. In other words, a progressive system. The more you earn, the more you pay. Despite these challenges, Montenegro remains a country with enormous potential and significant appeal for both tourists and investors alike. Despite the abundant beauty that the country possesses, one thing that does not stand out in Montenegro is the healthcare system. It's not one of the worst, but if you get sick or urgently need medication for a chronic illness, you may not find the medicine you're looking for in the country. If you're a taxpayer, you can access the public health system without much difficulty. However, if you suffer from a serious illness, you must leave the coastal cities and head to Podgorica as quickly as possible. It may seem like a joke, but in the country, especially in small coastal areas, finding a doctor can be impossible. Nevertheless, private doctors working in the country have affordable prices. Additionally, the people here are deeply religious. About 70% of the population adheres to Orthodox Christianity, while the rest are Muslims or do not follow any religion. Therefore, you will see numerous churches and monasteries dating back centuries throughout the country. Like many nations in southern Europe, the Romans also left their mark here. Montenegro is considered one of the safest countries in the Balkans and the world. Here, people can send their children alone to the store or leave their valuables on beach chairs while they swim in the sea without worrying. The population doesn't feel the need to turn off the car engine when they go to buy cigarettes at the supermarket. The police have very little to do because serious crimes are almost non-existent. This tranquility attracts many visitors who, upon discovering this beautiful country, regret not staying longer and exploring more of the countless landscapes and sights the place has to offer. Despite being a bit hidden and underestimated by many who don't give this part of the world a chance, Montenegro can surprise you and be an excellent tourism option. With its mix of challenges and historical charms, it remains a fascinating destination to explore. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment. See you in the next video.